Let me walk you through the recent market news as Dell Technologies announced a spin-off of their 81% ownership stake in the cloud software company VMware. So in this presentation, I will cover what was said, what it means, how I believe the market will react, and then we will finish it off with some quick math regarding valuations. Alright, before we dive right into it, let me give you the backstory. So 5 years ago, Dell bought a company called EMC, and with that purchase, they received an 81% ownership stake in cloud software company VMware. Fast forward to today, Dell can do a tax-free spin-off of that stake, and this is what has been announced this week. Now, this was well known by the market already, by all means, so this is not news, this is just a quick update for you guys. Alright, so let's get into the announcement. Well, obviously the headline, the sort of spin-off of the 81% ownership stake in VMware, and they also announced that there would be a special cash dividend. So if you hold a Class B share that's listed on the stock exchange of VMware, you will receive this dividend directly into your trading account. And if you know you hold the Dell shares, then this dividend will go to Dell Technologies, and they will use it to pay down their debt and get a better investment grade on the debt that they have outstanding. Regarding the old shares, they will be converted on a one-to-one basis to a new share. However, this doesn't really affect how much you own of the company, it only affects voting power. So let's just disregard that aspect, as that is not something that's important for us retail investors. What is important, however, with regards to business and how the company might develop in the future is the 5-year commercial agreement that was made between VMware and Dell Technologies. And this states that they will continue innovation and collaboration on some of the co-engineered solutions that they have. And for example, they gave the VX Rail, which is a Dell hardware platform that uses VMware software on top of it. And also some of the sort of cloud solutions that VMware have on Dell EMC, as well as the software-defined wide area network, SD-WAN, that's a mouthful for you. And also the digital workspace, which basically means that VMware comes pre-installed with this workspace solution on Dell computers. And apparently that makes it easy for the customer to just, onboard a new employee and give them that computer, and then it runs like it's supposed to. So those are some of the co-engineered solutions that are part of this agreement. And then also some other examples was that VMware will continue to leverage programs like DFS, and that stands for Dell Financial Services, so it's some sort of payment plan that they can offer customers. And both companies believe that the transaction drives additional growth opportunities. And the expected close date of this transaction is the final quarter of this year. And of course, very importantly, Michael Dell will be chairman of both Dell Technologies and VMware. And this gives a clue to what this announced spin-off actually means. Well, since Michael Dell will remain chairman, and Michael Dell is one of the big sort of owners of Dell Technologies, together with a company called Silver Lake Capital, this means that as of right now, Michael and Silver Lake controls Dell Technologies, and then Dell Technologies controls VMware. So this will sort of simplify the ownership structure in a way, I think, as the spin-off will mean that VMware will be owned directly by Michael Dell and Silver Lake Capital to a large extent, with sort of Dell Technologies not being a middleman anymore. And of course, it will be in the interest of all parts to maximize shareholder value. As always, it's the sort of core of Western business. However, I believe that this goal will be a lot easier to work towards now, with VMware being sort of more open and approachable to other collaboration aspects. I've seen in a lot of quarterly earnings releases that I've been following that the sort of cloud part of VMware has been growing a lot faster than the sort of traditional virtualization business that they've been doing for years, and that's still very stable. But I believe that this growth will only continue to accelerate and really unlock more shareholder value going into the future. Of course, right now, collaboration is really tight on those solutions that I mentioned. And I also want to bring up a quote that the Chief Financial Officer Tom Sweet mentioned on the call. So let me reiterate the quote for you. Dell channel sales represented 35% of VMware's fiscal year 21 revenue. So this obviously means that companies are closely intertwined, and I believe that in the present this will continue. However, there's no guarantee on what will happen 5 years from now, as maybe one of the companies outgrow the other, and anything can happen, and in technology things go really fast. And something that was a bit interestingly was that this has been sort of pre-announced and speculated about earlier, and when Dell filed the 13D back in July, they were really worried about what customers would think about sort of this potential spin-off, and would they still collaborate as closely. But there really wasn't a lot of questions from customers regarding that, and they seem to be sort of just interested to see this collaboration continue on products such as the VX Rail, which was a big success in terms of sales for both companies. Alright, so what will the market make of this spin-off? As I mentioned earlier, it will greatly simplify the corporate ownership structure and governance model, and more flexibility on M&A decisions, obviously. As we've seen on some VMware quarterly earnings calls, they continuously do acquisitions and they eye different targets, and they will be much more free in doing so in the future. And regarding corporate ownership structure, remember before Dell Technologies was the middleman between majority shareholders such as Michael Dell and Silver Lake Capital. Now this will not be the case anymore, as they will be direct owners, so to say. Also, as mentioned, this positions Dell Technologies to get investment grade on their debt. So this will be great for their financials. And this is something that I believe will affect the value positively on the Dell Technologies stake that's in the market right now. And greatly reduces the parent subsidiary and leverage discounts in Dell Tech stock price. We will look a bit on how the valuation looks right now, and then you can speculate some for yourself on how the evaluation will look in the future, but that's on the next slide, because I really want to clarify this point. And of course positions both companies for growth. I believe this is the right decision to make. I'm sure that management thought a lot about this before going through with it, but I really believe that it unlocks a lot of value. And to quote Peter Lynch, the famous investor who beat the market back in the 80s, he talks about spin-offs as a great opportunity, as the mother company, so to say, really want to see their spin-off succeed, and they will sort of set it free with a strong balance sheet, as a failure of a spin-off reflects really badly back on the mother company. And yeah, he provided some really great examples of successful spin-offs where the spin-off continued to be successful and outperform the broader market. So this is some advice to keep in the back of mind as well when it comes to this spin-off. Alright, so market valuation as of Friday this week. Well, VMware market cap about 68 billion, and then Dell Technologies market cap about 77 billion. So Dell owns approximately 80% of VMware share. It's 80.6 or something like that. So let's take the VMware market cap and multiply it by 0.8 to get the value of the 80% stake in VMware as of the markets right now, Friday closing numbers used. So that's about 55 billion. That's the value of the stake that Dell holds right now that will be spun off. And then what does the market value then the rest of Dell Technologies that's not VMware? Well, we see that the total market cap of Dell Technologies is 77 billion. So if we subtract the market cap of VMware, we're left with about 22 billions. So that's the value of the Dell hardware business, the computers, the sort of legacy EMC storage apparatus, and some other companies that they own. So quite interesting. Do you believe that this valuation is reasonable? Let me know in the comments below. Would you value the core PC business at 22 billion? Would you value it more? Would you value it less? What do you think about the future growth outlook for cloud software company VMware? Will they make a lot of great deals with different hyperscalers? Which one? Will they continue with doing business with AWS, or will they bring in maybe Azure and Microsoft as well, and Google Cloud? There's a lot of speculation to be done on the future for these two companies, but one thing's for sure, it's looking very exciting. And full disclosure, I hold 280 shares in VMware, and I'm very excited to see how the market will value them after this spin-off and what will happen going forward. So thank you for tuning in, and I hope you make a lot of money trading this year. Goodbye, friends.